Hi guys, my name's NeonGutzz, aka The Broadcaster. Now, I play the finals every single day, and I'm most known for flashy movement, specifically using the grappling hook. Now, you guys have been asking for a grappling hook tutorial for quite some time now, and I'm happy to say that here it finally is. I try to go over everything that I can think of when recording this video, but if I did miss some stuff and you guys are curious about some of the ways that I do things that we did not go over in the video, of course, you're always welcome over at twitch.tv/neongutz, where we're live every single day, and I'm always happy to answer your guys' questions. All right, enjoy the video. So, first thing we're going to go over is the controls. Now, you don't have to match my controls exactly, but I'm just going to show you guys what I do. So the first thing is probably the bunny hop here. I have jump on scroll wheel down. So what that does is when you hit the scroll wheel down, it gives the game multiple inputs of jump, and so you can perfectly time your bunny hop every time. I also do have spacebar as a secondary bind because I use both depending on what I'm doing. But the best way to learn that, I would say, is actually unbind spacebar for a little bit so you get used to jumping with the scroll wheel. Other than that, the grappling hook should be on a mouse button, in my opinion, because if it's on Q, that kind of limits what you can do with your left hand, and I like to have my left hand totally focused on WASD, the movement keys, to sort of steer the grapple. As well with Goo Grenade, I also have that on a mouse button. I think, yeah, it's X here, but in Logitech software, I have it rebind to the mouse button on the side. What this does is, again, allow me to just focus purely on movement on the left hand. I can go in any direction while trying to pull out the Goo Grenade. Pickup object, I do have bound to scroll forward. What that does, similar to the bunny hop, is it gives multiple inputs. So if something's flying past you, cash box, or perfect way to catch red barrels too, I just scroll forward. It gives like a window of inputs, and so I basically can't not catch the thing. I think that's pretty much it for controls. So now we are going to go over some basic movement tech without the grapple. Okay, so now we're going to go over a couple movement mechanics that aren't related to the grapple, but kind of showcase some of the controls we just set. So for example, right here with this angled jump pad, when we land, we're going to be scrolling down, and it's going to carry our momentum for a couple of hops. So that is the B-hop in its most simple form. And then another pretty basic movement tech in this game that you can use quite a bit on any class. This works on light, medium, or heavy. You can do the window hopping. Best way to learn this is to just kind of look towards the door, back out the window, and then mantle up to it. Once you get in practice with it, you can also do it kind of jumping out straight, but the best way to practice it is probably these back jumps. So they don't work on every map, but a lot of these maps have windows close, so it is definitely useful. Also have like the super simple sort of backslide. So all you got to do for that is basically slide and whip around quick. This can be really good when you're pulling a Goo Grenade. Right? Great way to section off enemies. Another basic movement thing you can do, especially with the vertical zip lines here, to dodge bullets, similar to like Apex Legends. You can kind of jump off and reattach to the zip as many times as you want in this game. Just a simple little thing. Okay, so now we get to the fun part, probably why you clicked on this video, is some grapple mechanics. So first of all, we already went over the bunny hop. Works perfectly with the grapple. Right, great way to basically extend the amount of distance you get from the grapple by like 1.5. So a lot of people wonder how I get so much distance on a grapple swing, and the answer is actually pretty simple. What I see most people doing is they grapple to something. So for example, right here, if I'm trying to go to this roof, most people will go like this, right? Whereas if you hold the button, you actually stay onto the grapple as long as you want until you release it. So for example, here I would swing off of it, and you clear so much more distance, right? So you just, at the peak of your grapple, release, and it will fly you out. And then also you could do a bunny hop here and keep moving, rather than just using it as like a way to rappel up. And so that is actually useful in more ways than one. So another way that you can use that swing to your advantage is similar to the window tech that we saw in the basic section of the video, but incorporating the grapple this time. So as you're running up, all you gotta do is basically hit the grapple and swing into the next story. And just hold the button until it wraps you all the way around. Sometimes it doesn't make you do the mantle, but I don't know. So the reason it's so important to have grapple on the mouse button is so that your WASD key are all open for your left hand. So if you were holding Q, it would be much harder to hit A, as I said, in the control section. But the reason for that is that all those keys are important to press while you're grappling because they will steer your momentum. Like if I'm grappling onto this and I'm holding A, it will be sending me left. And if I'm grappling onto this and holding D, it will send me to the right. And then if I'm holding S, it will sort of do more of like a fling. I'll show you right here. This is when I'm holding S. See how we go way higher? And then you guessed it, W is going to make you swing more straight. So those keys are important to always have access to because you can even use both of them and kind of swerve. Then of course, grappling into a jump pad is going to give you a ton of momentum. And then follow it up with the B hops. And you're flying across the map. So you're one of the sky ones now. Another thing I like to do that people think looks a little wild and is super fun to do is using the void to your advantage. Say you're losing an engagement right here and you have no escape. All you need to do is drop off, slide back up, and you can re-engage. Most lights do not run grapple, so most people do not expect you to have it till after this tutorial comes out. So with your newfound knowledge of grapple, you should be able to set up swings like this. Now, of course, practice makes perfect, but you got it. So the next piece of equipment we're going to go over in this loadout is the goo grenade. Now, of course, the most important thing is going to be making sure that you have the inspect bound to something close to your hand, because if you're not kissing Namatama, are you really using the goo grenade? So, of course, I have this on a mouse button. The loadout says X, but I have my mouse button rebound to X. So depending on where the goo grenade lands, it will change how the goo spreads from the source. So for example, whenever you throw it right in front of you, it's always going to expand like this. If you throw it on a wall, it's always going to expand outwards. And so you can use this to your advantage in a lot of ways that I'm going to show you. So one of the ways that I like to use this is making a quick head glitch. So if you throw it at the bottom of the wall, it'll expand out this way and you will just have a quick head glitch. On-demand sandbag. Another way, of course, if you throw it against the wall, it's going to spread out, right? So that will create you a platform off the map. You know where we're going with this. Can you take this gateway? Never gets old. But back to the goo grenade, we will go over the gateway in a second. But another thing you can do, of course, if you're quick enough, is you can do it while you're falling in it. It can actually be a way to save you from falling off the map. There's pretty much always a way that you can land it, but depending on how fast you're traveling downwards into the pit, the harder it's going to be to land. But I'm going to show you guys a quick trick. Even if you are moving like at Mach speed, there is a way to land it, and it's if you press your head and face right against the wall when you throw it, it will immediately expand below you. Now what can happen sometimes is it will expand and you'll sort of be inside it with your feet a little bit, and then it will start to break the goo and you will fall to your death. Nice job. If you're not falling that fast, you can be a little bit more stylish with it and throw it when you're further away from the wall. The other tactic is more if you're doing it by accident. This is if you're kind of prepared to do it. But the thing is you just have to throw it before you're falling too quick, because I'll show you what happens if you don't. I'm just too good. Just like that. Now, if I was pressed up against the wall and throwing that, I probably would have survived. So just keep that in mind when you're plummeting to your death. Sometimes when you need a quick escape, you can also throw the goo while you're grappling away. And since they're both on mouse buttons, it's super easy to press them at the same time. So all you gotta do is say there's somebody chasing me here. is a wall and you have distance. So then I can either go in here or jump off the map, disappear like this. So one thing that I get asked a lot is why and how I goo so fast. And so the trick is actually pretty easy. I'd simply pull the pin before I actually need it to basically get rid of half of the charge time. And if you're good at bunny hopping, you're not going to lose any momentum when doing it. The slide also works for that. So right when you pull the pin, you hit the slide. And you didn't lose any momentum, but now you have a charged goo grenade. And then if I don't need it, I just put it away and keep running. Right? That's kind of what it looks like. So if there's like even a 20% chance that I feel like I'm going to need to use that goo grenade to protect myself, if say I'm running into potentially 2 players, I'll want to block one off and try focus the other. I just always pull it even if I don't need it. It's so simple to put away. It doesn't lose me any momentum. Same with grappling, right? You can have all of them charged, ready to throw while grappling. And if you get good at bunny hopping, you can travel while doing that. Another way that I like to use goo grenade, if I'm really in a pinch, say I'm absolutely surrounded and one goo wall is not going to save me, what you can do is actually throw it directly at your feet, and then that gives you an extra either 1 second to get your grapple off cooldown so you can make an escape, or to reload. It just gives you like an extra second of life. Now that's not going to save you very often, but on the odd chance it does, it's nice to know. Another thing you can do with the grapple and goo grenade combination is actually get up to high ground. Create your own high ground. People aren't really going to expect you to have a sniper from up here, so you can get a couple of quick shots before they realize where you're at and where to get cover from. Obviously, it's pretty easy for them to break the goo, and with the new goo grenade nerf, the cooldown has gone from 20 seconds to 30 seconds, so it's a little bit harder to stay up here, but I don't know, just a fun tactic. So with everything that we've gone over so far, you guys should be able to do this. All it is a bunny hop off the jump pad on this barrel right here, and then a swing around the building to the back. Good luck to your teammates in World Tour. Again, is it viable? Is it cinematic? One of my favorite combinations in this game is grapple and low gravity, because you can just do so much with it. It might not be the best for combat because, you know, your enemies just kind of have to be skeet shooting, but for movement and traveling the map, it's a lot of fun. When you combine the bunny hops and the swings, you can just keep going until you hit your head. So this is just a B hop. And a second B hop, and then our grapple's almost off cooldown. And we can make it all the way around this building with everything we've learned so far on this tutorial. And low gravity. So now we're going to start to work the gateway into some of these plays. So I know a lot of people that are new to the game don't necessarily know how to use the gateway effectively. I was the same way. It took me about a season to get it into my loadout, but now it's completely mandatory for me. So when in doubt, you just always might as well have a gateway out. Because worst case scenario, I guess, unless they glitch it, that's the one thing, they can glitch barrel, glitch grenade it. If you get over 70 meters away from it, it just resets. So even if you don't use it, you're not wasting an ability. But what it does do is it gives you a get out of jail free card. Again, unless you're glitched or the gateway's glitched. Sorry, unless you're glitched when you're throwing the second gateway or the gateway entirely gets glitched, you're always going to have this get out of jail free. And it's actually faster to throw a gateway, I believe, than it is to throw a goo grenade, because you don't have to pull a pin at all. So if you find yourself in a bad spot, even quicker than blocking off the enemy would be dropping this gateway, and then immediately take it. If you just always get used to having one in the air, then you'll always have a quick get out of jail free card. I mean, you don't know what's going to be on the ground when you land, of course. There might be another team there, but you just know that you're going to get out of this dire situation over here. So working some of these tricks together here, we can start to see some off-the-grid granny action is the name of this move. So we catch ourselves on the goo down here, and then what we want to do is we leave a gateway down here. Now this gateway will last until this goo breaks. The one thing about gateway is there always has to be something below it. So I know that the goo lasts for 90 seconds, so I just have to keep that in mind. The gateway will stay there until I go 70 meters away from it. Once I open the gateway, it'll be open for 20 seconds. Now, one thing to note about the distance, because it's on a different vertical axis than me, that doesn't actually count towards it. So I could go 70 meters away from this. It only counts about how far you are horizontally. And so we have our gateway out on a goo down here. Okay, so let's say I'm fighting this medium here, and he thinks he has me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the gateway and stand still. And now because I'm standing still, when I take that, he's going to chase me, thinking he can kill me. But I'm going to land on the goo, and he's going to be holding W because he's not assuming this is going to go off the map. So that's the off-the-grid granny. Now, sometimes you can get 1, 2, 3 people with this. Another great way to use this trick is to actually bring the box through it, because they assume that you're going to the cash out when. No, you're not. And then all you got to do is grapple back up to it. Even if they land on the goo down there, just throw the gateway high enough that they can't reach it through a jump. And then that way only you can get back through. So even if they're killing you down there, you can do the same thing, and then they're just stuck down there. It's awesome. If you do forget to put your first gateway down, you can use that goo trick I was talking about. Either isolate your opponent and then throw the gateway up, and then throw the second one, and he won't expect you to teleport above him and then go behind him, especially if there's a goo grenade here. He can't see it. Or the other thing you can do is if you're totally surrounded, throw the goo at your feet, and at least you can start throwing the first gateway and then the second one. It's not, you know, perfect, but again, sometimes it's all you have, especially if your grapple's on cooldown. Of course, when you go through gateways, it does carry your momentum. So combining grapple with gateway is huge. If I grapple into this, it's going to fling me. And then if I wanted to, I could continue to bunny hop, but I fall off the map enough already. What is going on here? So the distance on the grappling hook is 25 meters. Or, yeah, less than 25 meters, 24 meters. Around that pocket. Now, one thing that I notice is when you're falling with momentum and you pull out the grapple, you kind of like bob down a little bit, so it does kind of make the grapple look a little bit longer. But from standing or running, it is about 25 meters. Of course, a very common way to use the gateway is to run the box with it. So you can either run it directly to the point, again, 70 meters. You can stand 69 meters away and throw the gateway further. So you can really have 90, 100 meter gateway, especially if you throw it when you have momentum. But what I like to do is put the second gateway off the map on a goo grenade, and then the people who are waiting for the box to pop, and so they can take the gateway and chase us down, steal the money, they just come right through into the void, and you just feed the void. So right here, I'm in an engagement with this medium. If I think I'm going to lose it, what I can do to confuse him is throw a goo up. He's going to be wrapping around this side, or expecting me to wrap around this side, and he's going to have his crosshair trained there with the grapple. Swing over him, be above him. It's very hard to shoot up in this game. Another tactic you can do, engage me again. So right here, gateway, and I'm behind him. And then if he takes it, I just take it again. Use the grapple. If he keeps taking it, a lot of the fights can end up like this, but once you're good at this, once you're practiced, you will win most of these sort of goofy gateway engagements, especially if you have a weapon like the double barrel or something close range. Okay, so again, playing the two angles, you can do more than just looping back and forth through it. That's the basic, but again, if you have your grapple, you can swing into it. Again, you're carrying momentum. So now you're bouncing between these. This guy's got no idea where I am. Oh, I went a little too far, so I throw a goo grenade. I threw it too far. You know, sometimes you don't get it all right, but this is a great way if you can keep in mind what way you're entering the gateway and which way you'll have momentum coming out of it to confuse your enemy. Another confusing tactic you can do with the gateway that works especially on low gravity is throw one straight up and just have one below. So you have this sort of vertical loop again. But instead of falling all the way down, if you just need a second to breathe or spot out where your enemies are, you can jump through it. And again, since you're carrying the momentum from your jump, you're going to pop out and be able to take it again before the cooldown's off. Nice. Quick goo grenade tactic right here too. You can throw the goo grenade on the enemy that's fighting you, and then it will give you a quick second to switch utility to either escape or nullifier or flashbang or blaster. Or whatever you want to do, but what it does is it, one, discombobulates them because where are they? They're just covered in goo. And then two, it just gives you an extra second to either reload or switch weapons or whatever. That's more if you have your goo grenade already out, anticipating you're going to need it. Like I was saying, you can already have the pin pulled and still move pretty good once you get good at bunny hopping. So the gateway, taking the gateway does not cancel a primed item. As you can see, I'm already ready to throw this. I've already pulled the pin on the goo grenade, and I'm just ready to throw it whenever. And so this works with anything that you have to sort of prep, including sword and dagger, which we're going to go over next. The grapple dagger combo is an odd one, but once you get it down, it is a super fun and satisfying loadout. So with the gateway, like I said, you can continue to have it charge. So if you start looping this with me, Kaleido, all I kind of have to do is look for an opening on the backstab. I can try as many times as I want until you get it. And because it doesn't cancel it, I'm just always ready. It's like an instant click. Again, they're not going to be expecting you to get one shot. They're just going to be trying to figure out where you are. So the way you can use bunny hopping with this is keep your grapple charged. If you see someone running, say, this direction, you can catch up on them so quick, even while, dagger is charged. Like, it's been charged this whole time. As soon as I catch up to him, I can backstab instantly. Like, my grapple is fully charged and ready. If anyone came through that door, I'm good to go. So just practice moving around while having the dagger charged by using grapple, gateway. To backstab somebody with the dagger grapple combo, can you like face me and maybe kind of like shoot around? Is you just grapple beside them, and right as you're passing them, you just hit a quick 180, quick stab, right? Most of the time, they're not going to turn that fast, and it's going to be a one-shot. Your main thing is to make sure you have enough health when you're starting the swing to actually make it to them, because a lot of the time, they'll blast you before you get there. Use the gateway to get behind your opponent. Instant backstab. So fully automatic weapons are not super easy to aim while grappling. That's why I sort of prefer the one-shot big damage weapons, but you can still do it. The more you use the grapple, the more you'll kind of get familiar with what way it points your crosshair. But for example here, if I have a target, I would mostly hip fire and do the wraparound, shoot while you're doing it. Again, reloading or anything like that does not cancel the grapple. The only thing that cancels the grapple is either a glitch or, why is the crowd so excited? Either a glitch or you canceling it with the spacebar. Or a nullifier, I guess, things like that. But in terms of using equipment, reloading, switching, nothing is going to cancel this thing. So you just keep holding it until you're ready to let go. And then you can work off bunny hop off the momentum it gets you. The tactic I'd use here probably bail if I need a reload, grapple back up, and I'm coming back to full mag. The third piece of equipment in this loadout I kind of look at as the flex pick. You can kind of put whatever you want in there. Sometimes I'll run flashbang, sometimes I'll run frag grenade, sometimes I'll run nullifier. But yeah, that's sort of the one that is not as important to this loadout and playstyle. The grapple and the goo and the gateway are all mandatory. The weapon and the third equipment spot you can kind of get creative with. I've seen people run smokes with it to get sneaky steals. Shout out Shaleet. I've seen people run tracking dart with it for some reason. Shout out Got Brownies. And Kaleido. So something new that I've noticed with the sword and the new lunge change is if you jump, in which case I use scroll wheel, right at the end of the lunge, you actually get a pretty massive momentum boost. And so this can actually be super useful because you effectively get a dash, even if there's glitch mines around. It's all just about getting the timing down. If you pull it too early, then you won't get as far. But if you do it right at the end of the lunge, you can pretty much play this game with one hand. of course, with the gateway, when you lunge through this, you will get momentum. And then if you want to save yourself, you have the goo. This one's kind of weird to do it on, because these count as a floor, but not that you can stand on, but the goo will stick to it as if you're throwing it in front of you. So you kind of have to remember to hit on these platforms or on these flats that are facing outward. So one of my signature moves, the goo and bust. If you run into an opponent and you already have your goo grenade out, what you can do is throw the goo and then throw the grenade over him, or over the goo, and then it will blow up on the other side. This works with flashbangs as well to blind the opponent. A lot of the time it will break the goo too, so then you will just have a damaged opponent on the other side of the goo and he's not going to know what hit him. Now the one thing about getting the grenade over top of the goo is you do have to do a little jump, because all throwables take into account the momentum that your player's moving. You can actually see when I'm pulling the grenade how the bar moves about where it's going to throw. So if I was just to stand still and throw it here, it would bounce off the goo and hit me. You don't want to bust yourself, you want to bust the other guy. So you want to jump and kind of throw it at its peak, and that's how you'll get it over. This also is true with barrels. If I'm throwing a barrel and I'm grappled and I have a lot of momentum, it's going to go a lot farther than if I'm standing still and throwing a barrel. Now that is super useful with cash boxes. Throwing and hitting a buzzer beater off a grapple is super satisfying. And sometimes you need it, because otherwise you'll be out of time. So if I was swinging in here with the box and I threw it from there, sink it. Generally, I find you can make about 150 meters in 10 seconds if you're using the grapple effectively and the bunny hops. Sometimes I like to use the goo grenade knowledge of hitting it on the side and knowing it's going to spread out that way to make one of these. Something you can do with the bunny hopping is you can bunny hop backwards as fast as you can bunny hop forwards, which is mostly just for style, but can be fun to do. So combined with the sword lunge as well, it can look pretty goofy. So right here, I'll do it. I have my sword charged, and I swing in, bunny hop, dash back, confusing movement, a little bit. But most of the time, like I said, it's for style, if you're trying to do like a fadeaway, double barrel shot, or bow shot, or whatever you're doing. But it can be a lot of fun. And that's the thing about this loadout, is it's not supposed to be a competitive loadout, it's supposed to be stylish and fun. Of course, as a grapple light player, it's typically your job to move the box as well, just because you have the most mobility in the game, especially combined with the gateway. Personally, if the cash out isn't that far, say it's 70 meters, I probably won't even use my gateway. I will just hit a fat swing. I can go into the bloopers. So one of the signature moves that I have is called the goo and bust, of course. And so what this is when you're in an engagement and you think you're gonna lose, of course, so you throw the goo and then, oh. Now this is a little bit more of an advanced tactic, but with everything that we've learned so far, in theory, you should be able to do it. With the low grab, similar swing, B hop, B hop, we're gonna have to run that one back. So another way to use the window tech that we went over in the basic movement is combining it with grapple. So all you want to do is, as you're running towards the window, grapple. Fuck! Why? Right here, for example, the window tech that we went over in the basic movement guide. We can use this sort of mechanic of staying attached to the grapple and swinging it around. So all you gotta do is just grab. I'm gonna crash out!